What's up, YouTube? Your boy back once again with another sport topic. Today we're going to talk some football, Houston Texans football. Before we get in there, I don't know when y'all watching this video. I don't know when y'all going to watch it. If you're watching today that I'm posting it, which is November 9th, 2018. I don't know. You might be watching it November 15, 2025. I don't know. Because sometimes I be on YouTube watching videos and get halfway through the video and be like, damn, this video was posted back in 2010. I didn't even know it until right now. But I don't know when you're going to be watching it, but tomorrow is your boy's birthday. For the right date, if you want to know the exact date, it's November 10th. So holla at me. Now, wish your boy a happy birthday. You know what I'm saying? Today, I mean, not today, but tomorrow, November 10th, will be your boy's birthday. So, you know what I'm saying? I just want to throw that little caveat there. Also, shout out to my boy Wise for, on his last video, rocking the Magic jersey. I mean, rocking the Magic hat. I feel you. Appreciate you showing love. Even though we kind of struggling right now, but I think we're going to get together. I actually need to do a Magic video pretty soon. But we're not talking about basketball right now. We're going to talk about football. We're going to talk about the Houston Texans. We head into the bye week. Well, this is the bye week. The Texans are 6-3, leading the AFC South. So let's review and let's talk about what's happened the past 9 weeks of the season and what to look forward for the next 7 weeks heading into a potential playoff berth. So let's talk. We're going to talk about Deshaun, your D-Hop, your Lamar Millers, your J.J. Watts. I don't know why I keep on wanting to say Foster. Foster just keep wanting to come out of my mouth. I don't know why. But we're going to break down. We're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about Bill O'Brien. We're going to break it down. We're going to talk about what to expect from these guys and what these guys have been doing. So, now that I got that out the way, and if you haven't, like, share, subscribe. If you're a new watcher, you're a new subscriber, I appreciate you. I get people telling me all the time that they're new subscribers. They finally found a Texan YouTuber. I appreciate the love. So just hit that like button, subscribe, go, comment, do whatever it is you got to do. Show your boy some love, because I love to show love back. Now that we got that all out the way, let's break down. The Houston Texans, after the 0-3 start, have climbed their way out the hole, and they actually got some separation in the AFC South, and have won 6 straight games to be 6-3, leading the division. Now, they're heading to the bye week, so they got a week off, which is good. It gives Deshaun and JJ and Merciless and Clowney and all these other guys who banged up, J.J., things of that nature, to heal up and get better. It gives these guys time, so especially when you're doing it off a winning streak. I mean, you going into play Washington Redskins on the 18th. I mean, this is a good thing that you had the wins. But let's talk about, people always want to bring up numbers and want to talk about things. So let's talk about some stuff. Because I know that's one of the main things that people want to talk about. We're going to talk about Deshaun. Deshaun, because, he is the quarterback. He's 185 out of 285 attempts. It means he's only missed 100 passes. 2,389 yards, 17 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. He's at 64% passer. He's averaging 265 yards a game. Quarterback rating of 100. So we're going to talk about Deshaun. Now, I was thinking about, people was talking about this. Miss Miller, yeah, man, what's going on, Deshaun? Deshaun's not the same play. I heard Ross Tucker, whatever his name is, from former football player. He was on 6'10". He goes on 6'10", I think, every Tuesday. And he was talking about, maybe we crowned Deshaun too early, and maybe we got a little bit too excited. So I started looking at the numbers. Deshaun played 9 games this year. 7 games last year. He's only 2 touchdowns off. Has less interceptions. Last year he had 19 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. This year he's 17 touchdowns, 7 interceptions through 9 games. Last year was through 7. Now, if you want to be completely honest, I mean, I'm a Texan fan, but I want to be completely honest. That game against Kansas City, 1, if not 2, but for sure 1. That last touchdown hop was a complete garbage time touchdown. You were already down by 2. You down by 2 possessions. You down by 16, and you scored a touchdown with no time left on the clock. So that completely is the definition of a garbage time touchdown. So you want to take that back, and you want to give him 18 instead of 19. All right, cool. He's still not that far off. He's only two touchdowns off. Even if you give him the total of 19, he's only 2 touchdowns off. Now, yeah, okay, he played more games, but you also got to take into consideration the Buffalo game and the Jacksonville Jaguar game. He's playing with a partially collapsed lung. The lung was partially collapsed so bad that he couldn't even take a flight to get to Jacksonville. He had to take a bus ride. So they're not throwing the ball the way that was supposed to be throwing the ball. You get what I'm saying? Like, if you think about also in that Buffalo game, they even attempted to give a touchdown pass to Hop. Hop just overthrew Lamar Miller because of the injury situation. They didn't want to do things that they didn't have to do. So that's one of the reasons why his numbers are not as high as they were last year. So basically, he's still the same guy. So all this talk is, oh, Deshaun has digressed. No, he hasn't. Deshaun's actually playing much better than he played last year. I mean, yeah, of course, yeah, we don't have the big splashy plays every game, but for the most part, he's playing better than he's playing. Well, he's playing under duress more. He's a better completion. He's not turning the ball over as much. I mean, he's playing at a way better rate and a way better quality. Yeah, he holds on to the ball a lot, but that's part of what makes Deshaun great because he's holding on to make that when he holds on to the ball, he's holding on to make that big play downfield. He doesn't actually. He's not skittish like he just the first reading I think he takes off and run. No, he is a actual passer. He actually is a passer who can happen to run. He is a pocket passing quarterback who actually has the ability to run and make plays happen with his leg, but he doesn't need to make those plays happen with his leg. So this whole Deshaun is digress, or the Texans are not what we thought they were because Deshaun's not what we thought they were. Maybe we crowned Deshaun too soon. It's stupid. Stupid. He's the same player. He's actually playing much better. And even with the numbers still say that. The numbers still say he plays better if you take into consideration the injury factor in the Jacksonville and the Bills game. Because if you take those 2 games out, or if he's fully healthy, if he doesn't have those class runs, I give you probably 2 more touchdowns and probably 150 more yards in each game. Because both those games he threw for under 200 yards. So I give you 150 yards extra in both games, an extra 2 touchdowns in the game, and that puts you over what he had last year. Especially if you take away that last year touchdown against Kansas City that happened with no time left. So let's talk about the running backs. We got Alpha Blue and we got Lamar Miller. Lamar Miller is the leading rusher, 125 carries, 525 yards, 4.2 yards a carry. He's averaging 65 yards a game. Alpha Blue, 94 carries, 271 yards, and averaging 33 yards a game. But Lamar Miller has 2 rush touchdowns. Alpha Blue has 1. To be honest, I think this is going to change, especially when Foreman comes back. And this is in the back half of the season. I think that Foreman was maybe not early on. They're still probably going to run the ball through Lamar Miller, but especially he's going to take away Blue's touches. Lamar Miller has looked good for the most part. We've seen him in spurts. You know, the Jag game, especially the Miami game against his former team was his best game by far, and that's part of the reason why his yards per carry average is so high. He was the first time a running back since Arian Foster in 2014 has rushed for back-to-back 100 yards in back-to-back games. I know we talk about the offensive line, but sometimes it's easier for offensive linemen to block for the run than it is for the pass, because when they're blocking for running, they're pushing forward so the running back can go. They're pushing. When they're pass blocking, they trying to hold somebody. They're trying to stop somebody from penetrating them instead of them being the penetrator when they're run blocking. So it's easier for offensive linemen, for the most part, to run block. Now, of course, you do have some offensive linemen who specialize in pass blocking, but for the most part, your average offensive lineman bread and butter is to run block. So it is easier for a running back to run. It's easier for you to establish a run game when you have a quality running back than for it to have pass protection with a mediocre offensive line. That's why the offensive line look better with the run than they do with the pass, because it's easier for them to run block. Now, being saying that, like I said, my main thing always been with Lamar Miller was that he was never a full 20 to 25 carry type of back. I still don't believe that. Part of the reason why I think he has a lack of vision, in my opinion. Now, I tell people all the time when I talk about Lamar Miller, stop me if I'm wrong. But or stop me, because if you want to tell me this, I completely agree. I think I might have been spoiled from watching Arian Foster and the elite vision that he had. Arian Foster had elite skill set when it comes to vision and running the football. So I could have been completely spoiled. But then when I seen Deontay Foreman run last year, I'm like, now see, Deontay Foreman does not look like Arian Foster in the slightest. But I like the way he runs. Now, the thing with him is him health and also him not being in shape. According, that's what Bill O'Brien was talking about, him not being in shape. So, we're going to see what happens to him coming off this injury and see if he gets into shape. I do think that he is a better pure runner, him and Lamar Miller. But Lamar Miller is faster. But I've really still yet, since he's been a Texan, have yet to see the guy that the Texans thought they seen back in 2015 when Lamar Miller had 250-yard touchdowns when he was a Miami Dolphin. I've yet to see that guy. Because even that big long run against Miami on Thursday night, I was looking at that run like, can't nobody catch him? Like, he doesn't look as fast. I mean, and sometimes some people don't look, some people glide and they don't look like they're fast. Like Arian didn't like he was running fast. Arian he was so silky smooth, he used to glide through up the field. He didn't look like he was super fast. But that's supposed to be Lamar Miller's calling card, and I don't see that guy for the most part. Now, let's talk about the guy I want to talk about, or another guy I want to talk about, the best receiver in the league, DeAndre Hopkins, 63 catches, 894 yards, which is third in the NFL, averages 14.2 yards a catch, 7 touchdowns, which is tied for second in the league, averaging 99.3 yards a game. He has 14 plays over 20-plus plays, and then 2 40-plus yard plays. Then we have Will Fuller, even though he's going with the ACL injury, which hurts. You know, his mid-season was 32 catches, 503 yards, 15 yards a catch, 4 touchdowns. He was averaging 71 yards a catch. He had 7 plays over 20 yards and only 1 over 40, which is weird that he's supposed to be the big play receiver, and Hop has 2 big plays over him. Now, we're going to see especially with Demaryius Thomas coming in, only having 3 catches, 61 yards in this one game. His biggest thing is he's going to roll coverage over and take away coverage from Hop, because I think that's part of the reason why some people don't feel that Hop is the number 1 receiver in the NFL. I believe Hop is the number 1 receiver. You don't do what you're able to do with all the different type of quarterbacks that you've had. You don't do that and not be an elite receiver. Still be able to put up elite numbers. Still was an all-pro. He was a second-team all-pro, I think, in 15. When you had Hoyer, Mallett, Savage. No, Savage didn't play yet, but Hoyer, Mallett, T.J. Yates, and Brandon Whedon all in the same season, and still able to. I know people one of my coworkers had this conversation earlier today about Antonio Brown. He was giving me Antonio Brown's numbers and said it's not even close. Give me Antonio Brown's number when he had Landry Jones. Antonio Brown has Big Ben and has always had Big Ben. And then when he doesn't have Big Ben, it's only for a couple of games. It's only 1, 2, 3 game, 4 game, 5. I think it might be 5 games altogether. And those are in the midst of different seasons as well. This guy has had to change quarterbacks multiple times every single year. He is never not one time. His rookie year, he went from Schaub, Yates, Keenum. Second year, Fitzpatrick, Mallett, Keenum. Third year, Hoyer, Mallett, Yates, Whedon. The next year, Osweiler, Savage. The next year, Deshaun, Savage, T.J. Yates, Brandon Heineke, whoever the dude, Heineke, I think his name is, the dude who used to play football or was the backup to one of the Migos, not Offset, Quavo. Yeah, he was a backup quarterback to Quavo. That dude over there. This is every single year since he's been in the league. And only year he did not put up numbers was the Osweiler. And I'm sorry, it's kind of hard to catch a football when the football is in the dirt and it's hard to play football. Also, being placed in the passing offense. I know they got Le'Veon Bell, but hey, that helps because it takes people out the box. It puts somebody in the box that takes a safety over him. He had other weapons beside him that help roll over coverage. So he had one-on-one situations for the most part outside the 2 years he had with Dre. And then it seems like this past season with Will Fuller, Hop has been double teamed all the time because you knew the ball was going to number 10. If the ball was being thrown, it was going to number 10. Nobody has to worry about. So that's the reason why his numbers not not explosive as everybody else. And also the reason why he had most of his catches early on in his career was a catch and the ball stopped right there. Because no one else, he might beat the corner, but then the safety come hit him. So he wasn't able to make the move. Now he's also has advanced and bettered his game and added more repertoire to his staple. He's able to make plays and able to make people miss on certain situations. But now that he had Will Fuller in the deep threat, Will Fuller took that safety because you had to cover Will Fuller. You may have to make sure that guy wasn't going to beat you over top for 60 and 70-yard catches. It helped Hop be one-on-one, and he was able to see the best of him. Now, hopefully Demaryius Thomas, a big body receiver, can do the same thing. At least, I know you're not going to replace Will Fuller's speed, but at least he can replace the coverage to help roll coverage over towards him. Him and Kiki, we got to see what Kiki do. Kiki got to get healthy coming out the slot. See if these guys can help roll this coverage over. That way Hop can still continue to get his one-on-one matchups and still be able to eat and be dominant. I think Hop can still put up numbers if he's if he still had two people covering him. It'd just be hard. It's just more difficult. But if that's the case, if Hop is getting double teamed, Demaryius Thomas, you got to make plays. We traded for you. You got to make plays. Kiki, we drafted you. I'm a Texas Tech Red Raider fan. I watched you at Tech. You been coached by Wes Welker. You got to make plays. I know you're a rookie. I understand that. You still have to make the plays. If these are being presented, if Hop is getting double teamed, I mean, you should be wide the fuck open. Make the play. And I'm sorry. I know some people kind of misunderstood what I was saying last week under the Denver game when I said I kind of blame Hop on that drop. Hop can't catch everything. I understand that Hop can't catch everything. But I feel you're the number one receiver. You're the number one receiver in the league. It's certain plays that you have to make. You catch that ball, that game is over. You don't have to worry about missing the field goal because you run that clock out. That was third down. You right there. It's Pac-Man Jones. One-on-one, you have to make that play. You just have to. You're the number one receiver in the league, in my opinion. You have to make that play. Now, let's talk about some football. We're going to talk about some defensive guys. We're going to talk about Jadeveon Clowney. He kind of had a slow start to start off, but now he has 5 sacks, 20. I think it's 20. I don't know if there's 20 tackles for loss or 20 total tackles. I'm assuming it's, I think it's 20 total tackles. But we know that he's more of a guy that we have sitting after the passer, so his total tackles are not going to be as high as everybody else. JJ coming back, looking good, has 20. Yes, he only has 5 more tackles, 25 tackles, 9 sacks. He's tied for second in the league in sacks. He's 1 sack away from getting double digits. So hopefully, we finally seeing this duo of pass rushing. Hopefully, Whitney can play better and get to throw himself in the mix as well, because I think he only has 1 sack this year. But that's going to be key for our defense, especially with the back end. We know Colvin and them being hurt, and I'm me being iffy on Colvin anyway. I think Honey Badger is doing a good job. Like I said, Kareem, to be honest, even though JJ has the sacks and JJ is the star of the defense, the person who's playing the most, who's playing the best, is Kareem. And Kareem should be. Now, a lot of funny things have. We've seen people like last year. The safety Kevin Byard led the league in picks for the Titans. He led the NFL in picks, and he was first team All Pro and did not make the Pro Bowl. So we have seen funky things like that happen before. We've seen Mario Williams be second in the league in sacks and not make the Pro Bowl. Dante Robinson led the league in interceptions his rookie year and did not make the Pro Bowl, and gave it to Champ Bailey. And I think that year Champ Bailey had 1 pick, but that's neither here nor there. We've seen this happen before, but Kareem should definitely be a Pro Bowler at the very least. If not even, I wouldn't be surprised if he's All Pro. I think I seen that Pro Football Focus I don't really give too much grades on him, but I think they had him graded the highest out of everybody on the defense. I think they had him rated as the second highest corner, number 2 corner in the NFL. He's nowhere near the number 2 corner in the NFL. But I get where they're coming from. I understand what they're trying to go. Like I said, I'm not a pro football focused fan. A lot of their numbers, I mean, they do have some good information, but a lot of information be those who cares stats. Like it don't really matter, and you really trying to bend your argument to make a case. But sometimes they do have legit metrics that you can go after. And I just use my eye test, and my eye test tells me that Kareem Jackson's playing the best football of his career. And he's looking like he should be at the very least a Pro Bowl, and I wouldn't be surprised if he's all Pro, at least the second team. Like I say, Justin Reed looks like a man. He looks like a stud, and for him to fall to you at the third round is just incredible. And you should definitely take advantage of that. I think you have some stars on that back end. Now we just need to find out what you're gonna do with the actual corner situation. But the way this defense is playing is starting to hold up. Like I said, the first 3 games of the year, they gave up bad drives. The worst game I think they played was that Indy game because you were up 18 points against Indy and you allowed that game to go to overtime. That was bad. Ever since then, your defense has played phenomenal, kind of up into that last drive against Denver because Denver should have never been able to, one, Hopson caught the pass, but 2, Denver should have never been able to try to even attempt a game-winning field goal. But they've been playing better, so we have to see exactly what else they can do for the rest of the season. Like I said, luckily, you don't face any high-powered passing offenses. I mean, you have Luck still, and you have Carson Wentz and I can't think of the receiver name for the Eagles. And Alshon Jeffrey. Oh, yeah, that's it. And you still got Alshon Jeffrey. But other than that, you really don't face elite passing quarterbacks and passing weapons. I mean, you got Alex Smith, Mariota, like I said, Jameis Winston, Luck, Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold. I don't know who's gonna play in Jacksonville, and Carson Wentz. So Carson Wentz is definitely your toughest matchup later on. That's the second to last game of the season. So you should be able to survive the rest of the year with your back end. It's gonna hurt you in the playoffs if you gotta go up against Patrick Mahomes, Tom Brady, Big Ben, or Phillip Rivers and things like that. It is gonna hurt you when it gets to that situation. But we gotta get there first. Overall, the team, I like the way the team has battled back from being down 0-3 to now being 6-3, winning 6 straight. And the more I think about this, I keep going back and forth about this. But the more I think about this, we're gonna talk about Bill O'Brien. I'm not one of those guys who, we have to fire Bill O'Brien. I'm not one of those guys who want to fire Bill O'Brien every Sunday. But the more I think about this, if the Houston Texans somehow, by any way, miss the playoffs, you have to fire Bill. You can't go from being down 0-3, dig yourself out the hole. Not only just dig yourself out and be level, you dig your way out the hole, and now you have a stranglehold on the division. You control it. You cannot let that slip. There's no way you can let that slip. Because Jacksonville and the Colts play Sunday. Whoever loses that game is eliminated. They're both 3-5. Whoever loses that game is eliminated because if Jacksonville loses, the next week they have to play Pittsburgh. They'll be 3-7. Even if they win the rest of their games at 9-7, they would need both. They would need either the Texans or the Colts, the Texans Colts, or the Titans. They actually need all 3 teams to be under 9 wins. They have to have them all be 8-8 or worse because they cannot afford to have the same record as them because they will forfeit their tiebreaker. Same thing with the Colts because the Colts have already lost 2 divisional games. Well, they lost 1 divisional game to us. And Jacksonville would have lost to all 3 teams if they lose. So whoever loses that game basically forfeits it. The Titans, on the other hand, What keeps the Titans above flow, which keeps them as the #1 contender for the AFC South against us, is because they actually beat us. So they still have that. Now, they have the Patriots. And they still would need some stuff to happen. And same thing with Jacksonville. Even if Jacksonville wins, Jacksonville still needs some other stuff to happen to the Texans and the Colts. I mean, the Texans and the Titans, just for them to get to that point to win the division. So you're 6-3. If you go 11-5 or 12-4, I don't think nothing's going to change. If you if you let the division slip, but you still make the playoffs and you 10-6, make the playoffs still, I think that they will make some type of switch, maybe get an offensive coordinator or something like that. But if somehow they miss the playoffs, even if they 9-7 miss the playoffs, you gotta get rid of Bill, because you can't do that. You can't have that stranglehold on the division and just let that slip away. You just can't. You just cannot have that happen. I don't know how much I can stress that you cannot have that happen. You just can't. You cannot let that happen. If you have the division in your hand like the way you do, because it takes so much for both Jacksonville, for the Jacksonville and the Colts. It takes so much for them to even get in the conversation. If Jacksonville wins, they still have to play Pittsburgh. So that still gives them more than likely 6 losses, because they already have 5. So they still more likely they'll get a 6th loss. Okay, even if they beat you, because they went out and they beat you in the last game of the season, you will still have to slip and fall 2 more times before you even get to that last game of the season. To even make that last game of the season mean something for Jacksonville in the division when it comes to the Jacksonville side. Now, when it comes to the Colts side, you play them, I think, in 4 weeks. Now, the thing about the thing about the Colts is the Colts don't have any more tough games outside division games. They got 2 games against the Titans, 2 games against Jacksonville, and then they still have the game against you. Now, if you beat them, they beat you because you already beat them. It levels y'all out. So tiebreakers come in, but you still again have to slip and fall 1 or 2 more times for them to get in that conversation. Now the Titans, they're a different situation because they've already beaten you once. That's why that game in 3 weeks on Monday night, or 2 weeks again on Monday night, is super crucial. Because therefore, if you lose to them, you have to have a better record than them. Now, even if you lose to them, you still have, I think, you'll still have a 2-game lead. You still have even if you lose to the Titans, you still have a 2-game lead. You still owe a game lead. So you still have to slip up and lose a game. But you still can make things shake and happen. But Jacksonville and the Colts, it's so hard for them because of the situation they're in right now, and then they play each other this week, and then especially on Jacksonville's side of the ball, who Jacksonville already has to play next, and that they've already lost to you and the Titans, they'll be basically forfeiting all tiebreakers. It's going to be so hard for them to get back into this conversation, let alone actually win. You can't let this division slip from you. You can't. You can't. Not having what we having. Not having what we having. Like my boy Deshaun say. We just having what we having. And having what we having, there's no way you can lose this division. You have to win this division. And I think you will. Because I think we're going to see this back half of fully healthy Deshaun Watson, who's the real MVP. Like, share, subscribe if you haven't. Comment below if you haven't. Click that bell to get more videos. I holla.